Hello, this is part 1 in a series of videos on how to write an essay. I am using a sample essay question and a sample essay to demonstrate the essay writing process. Part 1, this video, begins with the question, research, planning. The question for our sample essay is homework for school students harmful or helpful? First ask yourself, what are the key words? Have a look. You might think homework. What are some other things you might think are key words? So, yes, there are 3 key words: homework, harmful, helpful. Best thing is to use your dictionary and look up each word and any other words that come up. So we look up our 3 words and find that homework means schoolwork that a pupil is required to do at home. Harmful, causing or likely to cause harm. Helpful, giving or ready to give help, or simply useful. The other thing you should ask yourself is there any instruction words? These are usually verbs or maybe question marks. So look at our question. Is homework for school students harmful or helpful? What do you, as the student, have to do? That's the instruction. Here we are being asked to answer a question, so we must choose a side. We must decide yes or no. Is homework harmful or is homework helpful? Which one? The third question to ask is, are there any limiting words? So look at the question again. Is homework for school students harmful or helpful? Do we find, is it for the future, past? No. Is it any particular country? No, it could be anywhere. The only limiting word is that it's for school students. So it's not homework at university, but it is homework for school students. So then we have to find out, well, who are school students? What level of education is this? So school is an institution for educating children. Well, let's find out what children is defined as. Children are young people below 18. So we're talking about primary school, high school, anyone educating children up to the age of 18. Students means a person studying or a school student. The next step is to do research. The best place to start is just from your own brain, okay? Or you could even chat to family or friends. But get the idea in your head. What do you think are the pros and cons? Or I could say the benefits or problems of homework. What are the good things about homework? What are the bad things about homework? Then you need to go and read, all right? And each time you read, make sure you take notes. Good place to start your reading is simply just the internet, but do not use this for your essay. This is just to get you going, get you thinking, and maybe note down some words that you come across in your as you read. So we've just gone on to the internet, typed in homework, pros and cons, and look, the very first one, 20 pros and cons of homework. Remember, you can't use this for the essay. It's just a good place to get you thinking. And sure enough, you'll see that there are a list of pros, there are a list of cons. But very brief, no evidence, not something you can trust and therefore use for an essay, but something that might give you some key words, might give you some ideas. So using that, then you'll do some further research. And to do that, go to the library website. And because in your earlier reading you may have came up with the idea that it causes stress, then you can search for homework and stress, and this is what you might find. After all your reading, then start to put down a list for yourself as to what you actually did find. So in your reading you may have found that homework is quite useful for revision. It helps students to learn something they've learned earlier. But in your research, you may have also noted that children can learn the wrong thing when they're trying to revise information. Again, in your reading, you may have found that homework can be helpful for developing research skills. You might also, in your own brain or in your reading, think, well, yes, but maybe they'll just use Google and they're not really learning to research properly. Some evidence might be that children learn time management skills through doing homework. But in your research, you may have found a whole lot more that talks about the stress that homework causes, the fact that it takes away time for exercise or just general playtime, and these things are negative for children. So you write down all the things that you have found. Now, when you start to look at what you've come up with. Now, you might think from your research that the strongest argument in favour of homework is actually the revision it gives. But then, I have a refutation. I have something that answers that strong argument in favour of homework, and that is that children could actually be learning the wrong information. But then you say, well, what are my strongest arguments against homework? And they ended up being the stress caused, lack of exercise, lack of playtime, and that students are starting to cheat. So, now you come to the point, well, how am I going to answer this essay question? And really, the balance of arguments suggests that there are more problems than there are benefits from homework. Therefore, I could say something like, homework is harmful. But possibly I want to acknowledge, look, there might be some benefits, so my answer is better to say, homework is more harmful than helpful. Now, this is what you call your thesis. It is your answer to the essay question. Don't stop there in your planning. Ask yourself, why do I believe this? What are the reasons for my thesis? Well, it takes away time for play, which is needed for exercise. It causes stress for children, and it can lead children to cheat, such as copying from the internet. So these three arguments are what we call your outline for your essay. Now, you might do more reading at this point. Don't just stop there. You might want to find some more evidence. And as you read, you might realize that, yes, homework does take away time for play, but I went and did, well, let's find out, what is the importance of play? Is it more than just exercise? And I find, yes, it's useful for exercise, but it's also very useful for students to learn to critically think, to explore. And in my further research into stress, I find that it doesn't cause stress just for children, but it causes stress for both children and their parents. And finally, in my extra research about cheating, I find that not only do students learn sometimes just to copy from the internet, but sometimes their parents do the homework for them, which again